Good morning, everybody. How you doing today? My name's Andrew.
I'm Grandpa.
I'm Mimi.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Lauren.
I'm Aunt Becky.
Okay.
I'm Gavin.
I'm Joel.
I'm Matt.
And we're some of the Veggie Boys.
Go.
And we'd like to thank you for stopping by. If you're new here, please consider subscribing because we can grow lots of stuff on the farm, but one thing we can't grow is this channel without your help. Welcome back, everyone. It's so nice to see you. We are just getting our day started here on the farm, and oh yeah, it's still smoky out here. Yesterday on the farm was the worst that we had seen it, and it was pretty bad. It was not fun to be outside. It certainly looks foggy out here, but it's definitely not fog, it's all smoke. And this morning I can't even see the mountain, which that's not good. But regardless of any weather conditions, we've got work to do, so we're gonna get started. All finished with setting up the farm market this morning. There is some things that do need to be filled up. Before we start moving on to other chores, we'll take care of that. But for now, farm market set up. Big job taken care of already. Now, I'm not 100% sure what other jobs we have on the list. With all this smoke in the air, there's a few things that we're trying to follow that we've heard from news stations and stuff. One thing is not exerting ourselves too much while working outside, which, as you guys know, on a farm, that's kind of difficult. You know, there's a lot of physical work that needs to be done, but we're still trying to limit it as much as possible while still keeping things running smoothly and as normal as possible. Yesterday afternoon, it was very bad here on the farm. There was no visibility. It was just this terrible smoke smell in the air. And oh yeah, you could definitely tell that you were breathing it in. But there is always work that needs to be done, and today is no different. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have been concerned about us here, and I just want to let you know that we're all okay. We are doing fine. The animals are good, which hopefully brings you guys some relief. But another question you probably have is, how are the crops handling this? More importantly, how are the vegetables handling all of this? Well, I would like to tell you all positive things, but unfortunately, we can't say that. And really quickly this morning, I'm actually going to be taking you for a ride out to the fields. We are going to be making quick stops throughout the vegetables, starting off with the potatoes. Now, as you can see, the potatoes look awesome. We've had the ability to irrigate throughout these drier parts of the years, and it's really helped them out. As you look at these potatoes, you might be thinking to yourself, well, this doesn't look too bad. And you would be right. These potatoes look pretty good, and we're happy with the way they've looked. However, I'm going to talk about the first thing that the smoke has really affected, and that has been the growth of our plants. Now, why is it affecting the growth of our plants? Well, if I just bring my camera up and we have a look at the sun really quickly, I could almost stare at it, which I'm not gonna do, but I could almost stare at it because this smoke, this smog, is stopping the sun's rays from coming down. As all of you know, photosynthesis is very important. These plants need sunlight. And for plants that need a little extra sunlight, this has been quite the hindrance. Now, our potatoes are still growing, just not at the rates that we would want them to grow. And the reason why they're not growing as fast as we want them to is because they're not getting the sunlight that they need. They sure do look beautiful, and the plants have nice size to them. But as we look around, we see that the sun rays are hindered by the smoke, which is dampening or delaying that photosynthesis effect. And this just isn't affecting the potatoes, it's affecting all of our crops. Now, the second point I'd like to talk about is actually a point that is not all bad. See, with all this smoke in the air, that means that there's calcium, magnesium, and potassium floating around, which when it comes to fertilizing our crops is something that the crops all desperately need. So if we were to receive a rain, that wouldn't be a terrible thing because it actually would help out in a sense. If the rain could bring some of those minerals that are floating around down to our crops, it would benefit them and it would actually be a good thing. Now with our cole crops, you don't really see too much of an issue from there not being sunlight, but there actually is a big issue because sunlight is important for these crops to develop their heads. Cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, kale, and kohlrabi are all very important to us, and if we don't start getting some sunshine, well, they might not develop large heads, which with those type of crops is something that's very important. So these two are also being affected by not having as much sunlight. While we're here, we might as well stop and look at the sweet corn. It's struggling with everything that the other crops are struggling with. But this is the sweet corn that we planted under the biodegradable mulch, and look, we have tassel. Check that out. And when you start to see tassel, you know what that means. Oh, we're gonna be picking soon. Hopefully. Yeah, no, we're gonna be picking soon. This is gonna be nice sweet corn. I won't lie to you, I drove past the peas. I didn't stop, you know, I hate picking peas. I mean, I love eating peas, it's just picking them is not fun. And if you think it's fun, well, I'm sorry. There is something neat though that I wanna show you. We do have peas coming out on our plants. Look at this one. Ooh, that one's getting ready to eat. Yeah, we got some nice peas here. The plants are usually larger and they do have more peas on them. However, no rain has really hindered that. That is basically what we're gonna be saying about every early crop that we raise here on the farm. I mean, it's just what's gonna happen. It's just what we're gonna deal with. Now this is what I think everybody wanted to see, how the cucurbits, the peppers, and the tomatoes are growing despite these conditions. To start off, we have our cucurbits, we have our zucchini, yellow squash, and yellow zucchini in this row. They have looked really, really good. And then moving to our next row, we have our pickling cucumbers, which I'm starting to see some light green new growth coming out. We have 1.5 rows of our pickling cucumbers, and then we have some watermelon here in the middle, which I'm seeing new growth on that as well. Look at that right there. Beautiful. And then our last 2 rows are the regular cucumbers. Again, I'm seeing new growth, which is good signs. Thankfully, with these plants, we have our drip lines underneath, so they haven't had to worry about water. We've been irrigating pretty regularly. And then over here, we have parsley and basil that looks really well, along with dill. And then a final row of cantaloupe and honeydew that also is pushing out new growth. We then cross the road into our peppers, and our peppers were something that was really struggling with that dry weather. But once we got the irrigation hooked up, it had no problem. You can see a few openings here and there. That is where those plants that struggled with the heat actually died. In a previous video, I've talked about losing 5 to 10% of our pepper crop. 10% is the number that closely reflects it, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Peppers also take a little bit longer to get established when they are transplanted, and I do see new growth pushing out from the center, which makes us all very happy. And then lastly, but certainly not least, we have our tomatoes and eggplant. And here we have our tomatoes and eggplant. I'm sure you can see the green strips throughout the field, which makes me very, very happy. The tomatoes that we transplanted into the soil have had a great start despite the conditions that they've dealt with. Tomatoes are something that really needs a lot of sunlight, and it's obvious that it's not getting the sunlight that it needs. These plants would probably be bushed out a little bit more and have a little more size if we did not deal with this smoke. But I'm pretty happy with the way they look right now. There is only really one more thing that we have to be worried about with these plants, and that is this smoke matter, or these small particles getting stuck in the stoma of these plants. Stoma are microscopic openings on these plants that allow them to take in carbon dioxide and release oxygen. And some of these particulates floating in the air can actually block up the stoma, which is not good because that doesn't allow the plant to breathe. I don't think it's likely that we're gonna be affected with that here, but there is a chance that a couple of these plants could experience something like that. Hopefully this doesn't last for much longer and we can go back to having our blue skies, because I know we have missed it, and our plants have desperately missed it. Not only is everything I've showed you struggling, but also our field corn, our sweet corn that you haven't seen planted, and our other crops are being affected. Hopefully this shouldn't go on for much longer, and our issues are minuscule to some of the issues the families that are dealing with the fires have. So when I start to sit here and think about how big my problems are, I'm not dealing with what they're dealing with, so I hope everybody up there is okay. And I'd just like to mention, I'm not happy with the situation, but I'm not complaining. It could be much, much worse. I just wanted to share with you everything that we've been dealing with and experiencing because of this smoke. And I hope that all you are okay as well. Now that we are back home, we're gonna help the boys get the chores finished off. We've already got the farm market set up, so I'm just gonna walk through the greenhouse over here, see if anything needs to be done with that, and then down over the hill. If this is not a sign of what we're gonna be doing today, look at all this soil. Look at the Cookie Monster doing its job. I see Joel in here. He was working on something the other day for us. Look at that. Look at that wheel he put in. Whoo, that's nice. Not only did Joel install one in front of the greenhouse, but he's also installing one at the back. Ooh, it looks pretty nice.
Thank you. I think it came out nice. Now we just need to load it up with a hose.
Joel is just about finished up, so he's got one installed in the back and one installed up front. And from what I've heard, Matthew has enjoyed using it, which that's good. We gotta keep Matthew happy. And speaking of keeping people happy, that's what Matthew is doing this morning by loading plants up onto the wagon. We don't have much left down in these greenhouses. That's because the customers have been coming back regularly. And we've had a lot of new customers. I think that's some of your faults. Some of the viewers have came and got plants as well, which is okay. We're happy about it. We're glad you came. The faster we can get all these plants moved out of these greenhouses, the better, and we're getting pretty close. Right when I got down here, Dad asked me to grab the side-by-side and move this wagon so that it's not in our way. Daniel hopped in the skid steer loader. He's grabbing silage for the cattle. There we go. Good deal. We just got the chickens taken care of for the day. Dad got the eggs collected while I got the eggs graded. We do not feed on Thursday, so that means the chickens are all taken care of. Well, that wraps up the animals, so now we are up in front of the farm market, making our way down into the largest greenhouse because we've got something going on today. Tell the people, Grandpa, what do we have going on today?
See this pallet of pots? We're gonna fill these all today.
Woohoo! And that is why we had the Cookie Monster out and ready to go. Yesterday we got started filling some pots. We did mostly larger planters and hanging baskets. However, now we're doing our smaller mum pots is what we usually call them. They're just 1 gallon containers that we fill with soil, and they become the home for many, many, many of the mums that we sell.
You're gonna sell your mom?
No, mums. It's a type of flower, chrysanthemums.
Good thing you clarified that. The viewers would be upset.
I can't get rid of my mom. She's awesome. We got to keep her around. But anyway, I believe this is where a bulk of our morning and probably our day is going to be spent getting these pots filled for the girls. You're probably wondering how many pots are supposed to go on each table. You know, I wonder that too. Aunt Rhonda has wrote on each table how many pots go where. I believe 82 goes on this side, 82 on here, 82 on there, and then it's 128 on that side, and then I think another 82. And that's not even half the greenhouse. There's a lot of pots that are gonna be put in here. Then we're also gonna need to fill for down over the hill. Now this soil is a little different than what we normally use. One of the biggest difference is that it's not in the compressed bales, so you go through a lot more bags. Choo-choo! Aunt Rhonda's making me crawl under the table. How far under am I going? Just right here? This ain't bad.
Space them apart just a little bit.
Yep.
And then
as we're running this machine, we are adding water, which keeps the dust down, which is a big help because this will really mess with you if you have all the dust flying everywhere. So we have water added to it. It makes things a lot easier on us and safer. Shouldn't we fill it up full and then he just counts 42 off?
you're not the old man that can't count. What's the pot?
How many might we do that? together. What are you doing over there? I don't know whose job it is to unload these, but they need to get going. Oh, he's back.
I was so far ahead, I thought I could take a break.
Gunga. Dropped it. So as I'm working here, there are little cuts in the metal that allow me to see into the pot. That way I can see when the pot is as full as I need and then move it along. Now Matthew is helping me out because he pulls the pots off of the conveyor, which gives me more room. This isn't too difficult of a job, especially when you keep the soil nice and moist. But you know, it's just doing the same thing over and over again. You only do this once or twice a year. You do it for the annuals, and then you'll do it for the mums in the later portion of the year. I don't mind this job. Usually we're doing it when it's extremely hot, but it's nice and cool today, which makes this a lot more enjoyable. We just got through our first pallet of soil, and now we are on to our second. It's the same type of soil in each bag. This is stuff that we like to use for our fall mums. It works out really, really good. This is called Pro Mix BK25. It is a peat bark-based soil that we really enjoy using. It's actually called a soilless medium, which is pretty interesting. We just call it soil because, well, that's easier for us. Trying to keep Dad filled. He works really fast. We've been moving along really quickly, and it's been quite enjoyable working together with everybody. However, we are going to be stopping for lunch. We have got enough pots on every table all the way over to where Dad is working now, which is a really good deal. Daniel is now back from planting beans. Hey, are y'all finished with planting beans?
I hope so.
Well, that's good. And once they get the last of those pots set down, we're going for lunch. As I'm walking around, I can actually see the mountain, which is a good thing. We couldn't see the mountain yesterday from the smoke. I don't know if it's gonna get worse this afternoon like yesterday, but we'll just have to wait and see. Guys, guess what day it is? It is Taco Thursday. Yes, we're having tacos for lunch. We just got finished with lunch. Now for the afternoon, we've got a few different jobs to work on. One, we need to finish off filling pots, which is what I'm about to go do. But the other job is getting our planter set up for sweet corn. So what we're gonna be doing is helping Daniel get his planter all set and ready to go. And then we're running over to fill more pots. Well, everyone, we were able to get all the pots filled in our largest greenhouse. And guess what? It's even a little more exciting because the plants have arrived. Ooh, check it out. We have these two trays right here. I shouldn't say trays, I should say carts. Then we also have a few more trays that we've already moved into the greenhouse. And over the next coming days, we're gonna get started on it. And this greenhouse will be filled again. For the afternoon, we got all of the pots filled, as you just saw. We also were able to get some feed ground for the cattle, and now we're moving plants out of the greenhouse.
Not only did we do that, we also got some sweet corn planted. We got yellow, we got white, and we got yellow and white.
So apparently there's a hitchhiker in the peppers. See if we can find him. He went deeper. He's going really deep. He's going all the way, Joel. I found him. He's right here. There's a toad in our pepper plants. He's just enjoying the day.
Let him enjoy the jungle tonight, and then tomorrow we ride.
plant 'em.
Hey guys, I know. What am I doing holding on to the camera? Well, Andrew's working hard, and I just thought I should get this on film. You see, Grandpa Veggie got a brand new weed eater, and it's battery operated, and it's working hard over here. The problem that we usually have with these weed eaters is that they'll sit over the course of the winter, and then by the time spring comes around, the gas-powered ones, the carburetors are all gummed up on them, and they just do not want to work. We thought we'd give a battery-operated one an opportunity, and it's looking like it's working out quite nicely.
I think I got that far enough away for the lawnmower. So, whew.
Are you pleased with it?
Oh, I like it. I'm surprised it works as well as it does. These batteries, they've come a long way.
I think if you get some stronger string, that'll make the difference.
Yeah, that's the only concern I think I have. I don't think the string is strong enough, which I expect that, like...
Came out of the box.
Yeah, but we'll see. Once we go through it, we'll get some new stuff on here.
There you go. Just thought you guys should see that. Even when the man doesn't have the camera, he's a hard worker.
Well, that was a little bit of excitement running the weed whacker for a few moments, but now it is closing time here on the farm, so we're gonna start putting stuff away and getting ready to close. Just made it up into the house. It looks like Lauren also just got dinner on the table. Ooh, it looks like we are having raviolis, broccoli, and some bread. I don't know about you, hun, but that's looking pretty good. And what are you doing? Are you coloring?
Yes.
Wow, look at all this art.
Sabu.
Up high, down low, in the middle, fist bump. What do you want me to do?
Dinosaur.
Dinosaur? I can't draw a dinosaur. How about this? What's this?
Hi. Happy.
Well, everybody, as you can see, we are now all out at the dinner table, which means this is where we're gonna end the video today. I'd like to thank everyone for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.